Today I want to explore a practice that is often overlooked in our fast-paced world, a practice that lies at the heart of Stoic philosophy, yet doesn't require any special tools or conditions. It's something we all have access to, yet it takes intention and discipline to cultivate. I'm speaking about the power of silence. Silence, for the Stoics, is not simply an absence of sound. It's a state of mind, a discipline, and a pathway to deeper understanding. It helps us cultivate the inner strength, clarity, and emotional resilience that Stoicism so highly values. Ancient Stoics understood that silence isn't about weakness or retreat. It's about resilience, wisdom, and choosing your response instead of being driven by impulse. So sit calm and lay back with me as we journey together to examine 7 key advantages of silence in Stoicism. So before we begin, if this video resonates with you, kindly like the video and subscribe to support our channel. So moving on. 1. Silence enhances inner reflection. The first benefit of silence in Stoicism is that it promotes inner reflection. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, often wrote about the importance of understanding one's own mind. Silence allows us the space to turn inward, away from the distractions of the world, and examine our own thoughts. In those quiet moments, we gain insight into our desires, our fears, our motivations, and even our weaknesses. When we sit in silence, we can ask ourselves, why am I pursuing this? Or, what is driving my current state of mind? Instead of being tossed around by impulses or temporary emotions, reflection allows us to gain mastery over them. This practice is not just about self-criticism, but about cultivating wisdom through honest self-examination. Silence, then, becomes the fertile ground in which our self-understanding grows. 2. Silence cultivates emotional control. A second, deeply practical benefit of silence is that it cultivates emotional control. In the heat of anger, in the midst of stress, it is often silence that can save us from acting impulsively. The Stoics understood that emotions can cloud our judgment, leading us to say things we regret or make choices we would later wish undone. When we choose silence, especially in the face of anger, we create a buffer, a moment of calm in which to let that first wave of emotion pass. Epictetus, another great Stoic thinker, taught that we are disturbed not by events themselves, but by the opinions we form about them. In choosing silence, we give ourselves time to separate what happened from how we feel about it. That pause allows us to respond with reason instead of reaction. Silence is a small but profound act of control over oneself, one that can save relationships, reputations, and promote personal peace. 3. Silence improves listening skills. The third benefit is that silence makes us better listeners. In today's world, so much of conversation seems like waiting for our turn to speak rather than truly hearing the other person. Silence, however, shifts the focus away from our own thoughts and onto the other person's. The Stoics valued the wisdom that can be gained from others. By practicing silence, we can fully engage with others, understand their perspective, and even develop compassion. Good listening, in the Stoic view, is an act of humility. It acknowledges that we do not have all the answers, and that there is value in what others have to say. Practicing silence in conversation allows us to approach each interaction with an open mind, free from prejudgment, and open to learning something new. In the end, silence enriches not only our relationships but also our understanding of the world around us. 4. Silence builds patience and restraint. The fourth benefit of silence in Stoicism is that it teaches us patience and restraint. Imagine how easy it is to say the first thing that comes to mind, especially if we're feeling passionate or upset. But Stoicism teaches us to approach life with a measured, reasoned response, rather than immediate reaction. Silence is a practice of waiting until we've gathered all the facts, waiting until our emotions have settled, waiting until we have considered whether our words will add value or not. Choosing silence in these moments requires discipline, yet it strengthens our ability to control impulses. This isn't about suppression, but rather about developing self-restraint. Over time, this practice teaches us patience, making us more intentional in our actions and words. For a Stoic, the practice of silence is the training ground for developing resilience, maturity, and wisdom. 5. Silence reduces mental clutter. The fifth advantage of silence is that it reduces mental clutter, giving us clarity. In a world filled with constant notifications, opinions, and updates, our minds are often overwhelmed. Silence offers us a chance to retreat from this noise and let our minds rest. When we embrace silence, we give ourselves space to organize our thoughts, to sort through what is essential and what is trivial. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, spoke of the need to simplify our thoughts to focus on what truly matters. Silence gives us the chance to examine our minds and discard unnecessary worries or distractions. It is in this quiet space that we can focus on our core values, our goals, and the things that truly matter to us. In silence, we cultivate mental clarity, which in turn helps us approach life with a calm and composed mind. 6. Silence promotes wisdom and insight. The sixth benefit is that silence fosters wisdom and insight. Stoicism places a high value on wisdom, which the Stoics defined as knowledge that serves the good of the soul. Wisdom isn't gained through idle chatter or superficial engagement. It's developed through thoughtful contemplation and the willingness to observe and learn. By spending time in silence, we allow our minds to digest information and consider it deeply. The insights gained in these moments of contemplation are often richer, more profound, and more transformative. Silence enables us to observe the world around us, to notice patterns, to understand human nature, and to reflect on our own role within the larger whole. It is through silence that we gain the insights that guide us in living a life of virtue and purpose. 7. Silence protects inner peace. Finally, silence acts as a shield, protecting our inner peace. Life is full of noise, whether it's social pressures, judgments from others, or the relentless demands of daily life. The Stoics were keenly aware of how external circumstances can disrupt our inner tranquility if we let them. By cultivating silence, we create a protective boundary, allowing us to focus on our own values and priorities without being swayed by the opinions of others. In silence, we can remind ourselves of the Stoic principle of focusing only on what is within our control. This creates a calm center within us that remains undisturbed by external events. Silence, then, is not just the absence of sound, but the presence of peace. A peace that comes from knowing that we are responsible for our own thoughts, actions, and responses. In a world that often demands reaction, silence gives us the freedom to choose our own response. In conclusion, silence in Stoicism is more than a passive act. It's a practice that builds character, wisdom, and resilience. It enhances our self-awareness, cultivates emotional control, improves our relationships, and preserves our inner peace. In a noisy world, the Stoic practice of silence reminds us of the power of stillness and the wisdom that can be found in reflection. So, as you go forward, remember that silence is not emptiness, but a presence that allows you to listen, to learn, and to grow. Embrace it as a vital part of your Stoic journey, and you may find that in silence lies one of the greatest sources of strength. Thank you for watching. Kindly subscribe and drop 100 in the comments.